going on, guys? We're here at the Grand Canyon. Told you this trip was gonna be adventurous, and last night was really interesting because we camped out here, and I got stuck, and I'll show you later on what I used to get unstuck. So keep watching. Before I show you guys the equipment I used to get unstuck last night, let me give you a quick glance of the Grand Canyon. Hope you enjoyed those clips of the Grand Canyon. Alright, so I'm going to show you the item I used to get unstuck, like I told you before. Max Tracks. Best thing to use if you get stuck. Also a winch, but I don't have a winch. Max Tracks and dropping the air pressure. Best thing. We are in Vegas. Got my boy Shadow here. Wanna say anything, Shadow? Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're here to have some coffee and tell you about the crazy adventure we had. Am I right?
Yeah. So we drove from San Antonio, kind of in like a trifecta of the United States. So we drove from San Antonio across to the West Coast, and then we drove all across America to the East Coast. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the highlights that we had and some of the parts that we maybe would have done a little bit differently.
Some of the spots we got stuck.
Yeah. So we drove from San Antonio to the Grand Canyon. And a little bit unexpected that they were going to have 4 feet of snow there, but we did actually get stuck there as well. We broke out the Max Tracks.
That's where the Max Tracks came in handy
for the first time. But luckily we were able to set up. We were able to put our tarp skirt and stay warm, and we were able to enjoy the beautiful views, the Grand Canyon. I had never been before, Joey had never been to before, so obviously the kids had never been before, so that was really exciting to be able to see.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun.
So from there, we were planning to go to Las Vegas, but we actually made a pit stop at the Hoover Dam. So that was awesome too. That was windy and super interesting. So then from the Hoover Dam, we stayed in Las Vegas for almost a week, but we visited family while we were there, so that was really nice. So from Las Vegas, we drove to Reno. The views there at the KOA were very beautiful. That was just kind of a pit stop.
Yeah, that was close to
Area 51.
Yeah.
So we actually stopped in a store slash
Alien brothel.
alien brothel. That was funny.
We also saw The Thing on the way.
Oh yeah, we saw The Thing.
And then from Reno, we stayed at a little town called Calumet Falls in Oregon. That was an interesting little place too.
Yeah,
I don't think we were able to enjoy as much as we thought, just because of the weather, unfortunately. And then from Calumet Falls, we drove to Portland, through some windy, mountainous passages, and thankfully, Joey was driving that part.
Yeah. To get to Portland, to get to Oregon.
Part of the way to
Yeah.
California.
That was pretty cool.
So from Portland, we drove across Oregon and to Idaho Lava Hot Springs, and from there, that was a cute little town actually, and we actually ended up unfortunately getting stuck there an extra day, enjoying the hot springs an extra day, due to a snowstorm. So we were checking the weather, and it had only said 1 to 3 inches, like flurries, very little.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, we had woken up and we had seen the snow coming down. We're like, we don't know what's gonna happen here.
So we did hook back up and tried to leave. It took us about maybe an hour, right, to get out of the actual parking lot of the campground.
Yeah.
Because we kept getting stuck, sliding. We finally got out. We got on the road, going up mountain to a gas station where we then realized this was a bad idea.
Well, I think we had already realized it was a bad idea before that. We had taken out the tire pressure in the tires, even just to get to the gas station, which was half a mile away. So we got to the gas station, filled up, and we were like, we were even nervous about even driving back to the campground. But we made it safely back to the campground, set back up. We were talking about how we had to lower the tire pressure to be able to get out the very first day when we attempted to leave the Idaho Lava Hot Springs.
Yep.
And we lowered the tire pressure to, I don't know what we lowered to, 17
it was
something?
like 17, 15 psi. But also remember, this was the temperature. This is the temperature we had there. So tires dropped down even lower. See that temperature right there? That is negative 12 degrees. So yeah.
I think this part of the journey, the kids complained it was cold.
Yeah.
The entire time. And it was so cold where we weren't able to refill the tires. So we had talked about going to the gas station. It was half a mile away. We finally made it there. And we, unfortunately, the compressor, it was too cold for the compressor to work.
It started actually smoking. Not our compressor, the compressor at the gas station started smoking because it didn't work. So
yeah.
Then we went to a whole different procedure to actually put air in our tires.
So, and initially we tried to use our compressor and it was just too cold for it to work. So that's why we were like, oh, let's use the one at the gas station. And then when the gas station one failed, we really had no choice. And so we used the Milwaukee air compressor. And we had that in the front seat, heating up with like the van heat blowing at it. And then I had the heat gun blowing at it, and the tire pressure gauge.
The gauge itself had to be put on the heat.
Freezing cold, and that needed to be put on the heat.
And then I was outside with the rest of the cable trying to fill up the tires.
Yeah, and then I had to like listen to him being like, press it, don't press it, what's the number? And then, are you pressing it? Are you not pressing it?
Yeah. But anyway, you know
while
what?
it was heating up.
Yeah. I think it's better if you actually see what it looked like. So here's a quick clip of what it looked like of us doing the tires. What happened with us with the air compressor, the Milwaukee air compressor. We're gonna show what didn't work and why it didn't work, and explain the whole process as we reenact what happened.
So right here, we had the heater blowing on the switch while she pressed, and I told her when to press. And I had just the hose sticking out so we could be able to fill up the tires. Over here, we had the heat gun blowing on the compressor, also the heat vent facing the compressor to keep this warm. And remember guys, it was negative 14 degrees. So even though we had the heat on in the van, it was not heating and warming up as fast as you'd think it would be.
So while I was heat gutting the compressor, I had to listen to Joe and press the tire pressure gauge.
So this is what we were set up with.
But it worked. And
It did
thank
work.
God we were able to fill up the tires and go on to the next part of our journey. Luckily, the next day, after we had stayed an extra day, the roads were much more clear. They were still kind of a little sketchy here and there, but they were clear. We were able to get some tire change just in case if the snow was bad again, because we were going to be driving to Colorado at that point. So we were driving to Colorado. We actually at that time decided to try to avoid these high wind warnings. So we took like an extra hour and a half outside of our route. Seen a few accidents, like we saw a trailer that was turned over.
Yeah, a car flipped over.
Yeah, so that was that definitely helped make our decision to take a little bit of a longer route. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that was supposed to be about a 10-hour trip. It turned into like 16, 17 hours. I think we were supposed to plan to get there around 8 o'clock, and we did not get to Steamboat, Colorado from Idaho Lava Hot Springs until, what was it, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.? Yeah. We were, of course, winding through the mountains. There were patches of snow, patches of ice. It was definitely probably the scariest part of our trip.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that we did pick up the chains when we did, because we did have to switch to the chains and drive the rest of the way.
So from our next stop from Steamboat to the next stop was supposed to be Omaha, Nebraska, and unfortunately they were getting hit with a snowstorm the next day too, so we decided to have to stay at Steamboat an extra day as well, which was nice because we were able to like rest. And
we did some ice skating right here. Watch this clip, us ice skating. You guys watching? That's pretty awesome, right? I know, I have talent.
And then we actually saw an elk. That was interesting.
Yeah. That they shot and killed.
Unfortunately, allegedly, we don't know.
I mean, we did hear the gunshots when they told us to walk away.
Yeah, we actually almost accidentally walked right upon it, and then luckily a police
he jumped in front of us,
drove right in front of us, and was like, "Hey, you guys,
you need to stop."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice.
They were really helpful, and we went on the little shuttle bus around the town, and that was really cute, and we were able to enjoy some beverages because we weren't driving.
Yeah, we had the bus.
So from Colorado, we were kind of running out of time to drive across because we had so many delays. So we were planning on just kind of roughing it and just driving straight from Colorado to New York. But along the way, we actually ended up staying in West Virginia. We actually wanted to kind of not have to drive through Ohio, the East Palestine area that was kind of like in our path, so we decided to kind of go a little bit around everything that was happening there. So
it was like an extra hour,
I think it was an extra 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Oh wow, yeah, extra 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, so we decided to stop in Harrisonburg, West Virginia. They had a KOA there, and driving there.
Super scary KOA.
I mean, I think that whole part of the last part of the drive was really scary.
Don't get me wrong, the KOA during the day was a lot nicer, and it was, it wasn't that scary. Yeah. But at night,
again, yeah, we had gotten there at 1 o'clock in the morning. We drove through that West Virginia pass, that I-64, which was this crazy road. I don't. In the middle of the night, it seemed like you were in the mountains, and it looked like the road was like going in the middle of nowhere, and it was a wild road, and also in the icy winter. And then you know, they had like little creatures and stuff, like
yeah, so it looked like people
like
were looking at you,
yeah,
or animals were watching you. But then during the day, you see what it was. It's just artwork.
It was like a squirrel, or
yeah,
like
wooden squirrel, like wooden signs, and it just made the whole night look a lot more spookier than what it really was.
Yeah, it was super quiet. Of course, we were trying to set up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But we're grateful to be able to have been able to stop there, and then from there we took a historical stop at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and we're able to see a lot of the historical spots there. That was really cool because I had never been, and I've
always wanted to go too. Shows everything that happened on, you know, that day on the battlefield. Yeah,
they had like a cyclosphere movie thing with this painting that was painted in 1900, and then they like had this like light show, and it was
if you haven't gone, you should go. It's something really cool to see, especially to take your kids to see.
Yeah, and apparently they had shown it at like a world fair in the early 1900s, and so but I'm sure that, I mean, I would love to go back to the town because the town was really cute too, and just had a lot of historical stuff too there. So we made a pit stop there, and then was able to drive the rest of the way to New York, and here we are with more snow.
We actually brought the snow from Colorado. So I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and you know, follow and subscribe.